applied Max Painterly Paint Pot to my eyelids to act as a base to help the eyeshadow stay on all day and prevent them from creasing. And I'm using a brush first and then just blending it out with my fingers. And yes, I have no eyebrows on right now. This is what my eyebrows naturally look like, and it's hella scary. So the next eyeshadow I'm taking is Creme Brûlée by Makeup Geek on a fluffy brush, and I'm working this into my crease area to act as the transition shade, and I'm working it on the outer corner, creating kind of like a pulled out wing shape, and I'm also pulling it pretty far into the inner corner as well. And then moving on, I'm using Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek on more of a tapered blending brush, and I'm focusing that directly into my crease, kind of blending into that creme brulee shade, and again making sure that it has kind of a nice pulled out winged effect as well. And then just to blend out the edges, I'm going back with that original fluffy brush just to smooth out the edges and make them nice and soft. And then the next eyeshadow I'm taking is Bitten by Makeup Geek. It's more of a reddy tone, and I'm focusing that pretty much on top of that Cocoa Bear color just to add a little bit more of that red kind of tone and to help transition it into more of that Marsala shade that we're going for. So I'm just making sure that I stick to that winged out shape of the outer corner, and I'm pulling it pretty close into the inner corner of my eye as well. And then taking a dark brown color, this is Bada Bing by Makeup Geek. I'm focusing this more on the outer V of the eye just to start adding some depth and some smokiness to the look, and just making sure that's really concentrated inside the crease and in that outer V shape. And then if you have to, just go back in with that fluffy brush from earlier and just soften out all the edges to make sure nothing's too harsh. And then to add a little bit more red to the look, I'm going in with Sugarpill's Love Plus eyeshadow, and I'm just kind of adding this very lightly to the upper crease area to add more of that red tone. But I forgot how pigmented this eyeshadow was, so I went a little too pan with it. So if it's a little bit too much red and you need to blend it out, just go back in with that fluffy blending brush and just smooth it out, and it kind of tones down a lot of that red. And then I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Corrupt, which is just a black eyeshadow on a really tiny blending brush. And I'm focusing this on the outer V and directly into the crease area, again just to add some more depth and drama to the look. And then I'm just going in with the blending brush that had Bitten and Cocoa Bear on it, and I'm just smoothing it over the black just to help it blend into the other shades. And then as my brow highlight, I'm using a combination of Vanilla Bean and White Lies from Makeup Geek. When I'm doing such a dark smoky eye like this, I tend to use this as my highlight because it doesn't draw attention, but it still acts as a natural kind of lighter highlight. And then moving on to the eyelid, I'm using a Chanel cream eyeshadow. I'm not going to try pronouncing the name because I'll butcher it, but I'm using this as a base for the other eyeshadows I'm putting on top. But this just has that nice kind of plummy Marsala tone to it, so that's why I'm using it as a base. And then I'm going right over top of that with Makeup Geek Showtime. This is one of the foiled shadows, and I am just pressing that all over the eyelid over top of that Chanel cream shadow. And because that foiled eyeshadow wasn't quite red enough for me, I'm going directly in the center of my eyelid with Flamethrower, which is another foiled shadow, and it has a little bit more of that reddy orange tone to it. And I'm focusing that just in the middle of the eye and then flipping the same brush over and just kind of blending it into that Showtime shade, and it just gives it more of a reddy tone and takes away a little bit of that purple tone. And then I'm just tightlining my upper waterline with an Hourglass gel liner pencil, just to kind of add a little bit more drama. And then I'm just applying a coat of mascara to my upper lashes. I'm not being too particular about this because I'm putting false lashes on today. This is more so just to get my lashes black. And I did my foundation, concealer, powder, contour, all that fun stuff off camera. And I'm coming back to the eyes now, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing Cocoa Bear onto the lower lash line and connecting it to that eyeshadow on the upper lid as well. And also I do have my brows done, so if you want to see an updated brow routine, because I did change up how I did that, leave a comment below and I will do that as well. And then I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Bitten on that same smudge brush, and I'm just putting that basically right over top of Cocoa Bear just to add a little bit more of that Marsala-y tone to the eyeshadow, and making sure that's also connected and blended up with the eyeshadow at the outer corner. And then to add a little bit more red, I'm going back with Sugarpill Love Plus and just softly blending that over top. And then to add a little bit of smokiness, I'm taking Corrupt on that tiny blending brush and just kind of focusing that from the outer corner down along the lower lash line just to connect the top and bottom and make it a little bit more connected. And then just to blend out those shades, I'm taking Creme Brûlée and I'm just using that to blend out that lower lash line just so it's not super harsh and the dark colors don't just stop. It just helps soften out the dark colors. And then I'm going back in with that Hourglass pencil liner and just tight lining on the lower lash line as well. And I'm using In the Spotlight Foiled Shadow by Makeup Geek on the inner corner as my highlight today, just to add a little bit of a nice golden kind of shimmer. And then I'm just applying mascara to the lower lashes. This is a MAC 1 here. I love it for the lower lashes because the brush is super tiny. And the lashes I'm using today are Ardell Demi Wispies with House of Lashes Lash Glue, which is my absolute favorite lash glue. And I'm just placing those, and that is the finished eye look. So I hope you guys like it. Let's move on to the rest of the face. So the blush I'm using today is NARS Outlaw. It has a very similar tone to the colors we used on the eyes, but it is a darker shade and I'm quite fair, so you have to be very careful with this color because it can get out of control really fast. So I'm just applying that to the backs of my cheeks, and then as a cheekbone highlight I'm using Opal by Becca with a fan brush. So I can get really precise placement and you can just see the really pretty kind of gold sheen that it gives. I think it ties in with the eyes really well. And it's one of my favorite highlighters in general, so I tend to use this one quite a bit. And I also apply some down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and a teeny bit on my chin as well. And then moving to the lips, I'm using MAC's Morning Coffee, which is a pro longwear pencil. And I'm only kind of outlining the outer corners of my top and bottom lips and doing some light shading on those areas. I'm not lining my entire lip. This is basically just to make my lips look a little bit poutier without going too crazy on the overdrawing or anything like that. It still kind of keeps them looking a little bit natural. So I just kind of line the outer corners on top and bottom lips, and then my cupid's bow and the center of my lower lip just to add a little bit of definition. And then going in with MAC Myth lipstick, which is one of my favorite nude lipsticks, I'm just kind of placing that over top and blending it in with the pencil, and it kind of gives like a very subtle ombre where they blend. But yeah, that is the finished total look. Very monochromatic, Marsala kind of look, very dramatic. I hope you guys like it, and if you do, please remember to like, comment, all that fun stuff, and thank you for watching.